Okay, I'm actually going to, in this section, give you my personal sinking funds. I mentioned I've got about 15, 20. I'm not quite sure how many I have, but I do have a lot of sinking funds. So I'm just going to read straight through them for you so you personally know my sinking funds. So my sinking funds is, the first one is funnily named Treat Yourself. This is a reference to Parks and Recreation, the TV show Treat Yourself. So the Treat Yourself section is put money in there. If you've got extra money that's just found its way in your bank and you've not assigned it to anything, you could also put it in Treat Yourself so you know at some point you can enjoy that money. The council tax. This is a tax. This is just purely because I know that I can't adjust it to pay on the exact date that I want to, and I know it doesn't come out on payday, so it comes out about 10 days after my payday. So with the council tax, I put that into this pot on payday, so I know I don't have it, and when it comes out of my bank, I can withdraw it from the pot again at that point. This is so I psychologically know how much money I actually have straight after payday. Gas and electric. Gas and electric is a one-off. Like in the UK in 2024, so in 2022 to 2023, so the winter there, the government put a lot of money towards paying our gas and electric bills. So the difference over that time, from the winter of 2022 to 2023, the money that I saved from the government paying for our gas and electric, I put it in this pot because I knew one day another winter will come and I will need help with gas and electric bills. So I put the money into the gas and electric section so we are ready for the next winter and the coming winters with the gas and electric bills. So I was thinking ahead there, forward thinking gas and electric. The next section is education. I mentioned in a previous video that the biggest investment you can make is in yourself. So anything that I can put my money into that will bring me knowledge and education and certification, it doesn't always have to be that. It could even be something as simple as a book. But the education section is what I can dip into anytime I think this will improve my life, improve my skill. So that's that section. Home maintenance. Home maintenance. Things go wrong with your home all the time, and it can be out of nowhere. So this is almost like an emergency fund that is specific for my home. So the home maintenance fund, and if I get to a certain point where there's thousands of pounds in there, I can actually search for problems. I can actually go around and think, actually, this is something I've put up with, but now I don't need to do that. I've actually saved up enough money in there to go and fix that problem. A lot of little problems you can live with, but having a home maintenance fund that you put a little bit of money in each month on payday, let it grow, and eventually if any problems happen, you have money there for it. And if no problems happen, when it grows high enough, you can improve something in your home. Vehicle MOT. We all know every year, if you have a car, you have an MOT. You need to pass the MOT. So again, I know this is an expense that I will have to pay for, and through the year, I put some money into this every single payday, just so I'm prepared when the MOT comes. I'm not hit with a big bill. I'm prepared if something goes wrong, and I can pay that money, and I'm ready for it. Christmas. For me, Christmas is a holiday that I celebrate, and it's something that comes around every year. If it's not something you celebrate, you may celebrate a different holiday, but you can have the same principles here. You can have a pot for that holiday where you can save throughout the year. So when Christmas comes, you can withdraw all that money and get to spending and enjoying your Christmas. This is an alternative to the catalogs that you used to see or still do see. I think they were called parks. So you would pay each month and they would give you, I think, vouchers. I never used them, but I think they gave you vouchers around Christmas time. It's kind of the same thing, but instead of giving it to an external company, relinquishing control, instead of giving it to an external company, you are taking control and giving it to yourself in preparation for Christmas. So once Christmas is over and January comes, you're not stuck. You're not having the January blues. You were prepared for Christmas and it had no impact on your life. You built it up throughout the year. So that's Christmas. Birthdays. Myself and my wife, we have birthdays. So does everyone. So with regards to birthdays, we put money each month into the birthday pot in preparation for our birthdays. Because again, this is a known expense. You'll notice that a lot of these pots, well, almost, I think all of these pots are known expenses. So that's what a sinking fund is a known expense, so you're getting ready for it. Holidays. If you want a holiday, actually I've got nothing in that pot at the moment, but a holiday, we've got a holiday pot to prepare ourselves for a holiday. Holidays are not big for me at the moment. Neither my wife. We're not really that interested anymore. We've actually come to the point where we're kind of bored of the common holiday of going to all-inclusive. So actually there's no money in that pot, but eventually will be a break, a vacation holiday that we need to go on. So we will build that up at some point. Car insurance. This is a known expense. Now you can pay for this monthly, but you may notice when you buy car insurance on a monthly basis, it's actually more expensive than the annual basis. So by paying for it annually and saving up monthly into your pots, you will see that you're actually saving money. Again, having more disposable income, having more control. If you pay monthly, you are basically taking a loan from the car insurance company. The car insurance company is paying for it up front, and you are paying it back monthly. That's how it works, and that's why it's usually more expensive and usually has interest on top. So by paying annually and saving up monthly into your pots, you'll be ready and you'll save a little bit of money there. Home insurance, same as before with the car insurance. Pay it annually, save money. Pets and vets. We have a pets and vets section because we do have some cats and they are getting old now, so we do need to prepare. And we've started to realize that the pet insurance itself is actually becoming more and more strict. So the older they're getting, the less and less they are covered. So at a certain point, it doesn't make sense to actually have insurance and instead self-insure. Now, you could get insurance from an early age with your pets, but still there will be restrictions as they get a lot older. So actually, from an early age, if you have the financial backing and the financial freedom and enough finances to look after your pets, you can even self-insure. So we have a pets and vets section here. Personal health. So in the UK, we are extremely fortunate to have the great NHS. These look after us if we break an arm or anything goes wrong like this. But there are certain circumstances where the NHS do not cover certain scenarios, certain illnesses, certain things that happen. Let's say, for example, if I break my teeth, the NHS are not going to help me in that situation. We don't generally take out dental insurance in the UK. I know in America you do, but in the UK we generally don't have dental insurance. That's probably why the Americans take the mick out of the UK, the English people's teeth, because you have beautiful teeth and you've got insurance and you get that for your company and you do all the whole thing with braces and get all your teeth right. And the UK, we've got beautiful characters in our teeth. Our very unique teeth are part of who we are, a part of our character. But you may not be prepared to pay for them. So we have a personal health section that has some money in there in case anything goes wrong regarding our personal health, and the NHS do not cover this. We have a life happens section. Life happens is almost like a tiny little emergency fund that protects my emergency fund. Just for some added security, I barely put any money in there per month. It's like £5 a month. It's just a tiny little thing. Just a tiny little thing to protect the emergency fund. A new phone. One day we will need a new phone. Every 3 years or so, 4 years, we might need a new phone. We're going to buy used and reliable, like we said previously, but after about 3 or 4 years, we'll need a new one. So we save up for this in the pots as well. This one's a dark one, funeral. I know it's a known expense. One day I will die, and I don't want my friends and family having to pay for my funeral. I don't want my funeral to be big. I just don't want to be a hindrance on my friends and family. So I've been saving up for my funeral for a long time and building the fund there. So if that ever happens, I can pay for it myself and I won't be a burden on any of my friends and family. A new car. Similar to a new phone, we know one day we will need a new car. Cars don't last forever. They depreciate in value and eventually they break down. They are complex machines, so one day I will need a new car, so we have a space for a new car. And lastly, the most important one is the emergency fund. We have a fully funded emergency fund here. We even protect the emergency fund just a little bit as well on there, but we do have a fully funded emergency fund ready for if an emergency comes along. If either of us lose our job, if we are stuck, if the boiler breaks down or the car breaks down, we're ready to pay cash for the things we need in those emergencies. And remembering that an emergency fund is an emergency only. If you know there's an expense coming, create a pot for it. It's a known expense, you put it into a pot and you prepare and you build up for that. But an emergency fund is the black swan events, the things that you don't see coming. And that's it. That is the list of my spaces with my bank and what I prepare for each year. You may have some other spaces and some other ideas, but it's definitely a great idea to have spaces ready for the known costs throughout the year and throughout your life. So get ready for that.